Now, before the games were postponed, Flyers head coach Alain Vigneault was asked about all that has transpired in the sports world over the last 24 hours, and listen to what he had to say.
I have really no idea what's going on in the outside world. We're in this bubble right now. I'm invested 24/7 on our team. I'm working 20 hours a day, going through video and preparing our group. I don't do Twitter. I haven't read a sports article and I don't know how long, and I haven't read any type of article and I don't know how long. So I guess I'm a hockey nerd, and that's what I'm doing right now. We all see the signs. We're all for equality and for social justice. But right now, I think what we're trying to do is play a game, and I think players and management and coaches are really focused on that. This is the most important time of the year for us. It's playoff hockey.
Craig Button joins us now. Craig, what do you make of Alain Vigneault's comments today where he says, I really have no idea what's going on in the outside world. I guess I'm a hockey nerd and that's what I'm doing right now. Do you actually believe him, or is he just being blissfully ignorant at a pivotal time here in sports history?
Oh, he's being ignorant, but I wouldn't call it blissful. I would call it abhorrent and indefensible. Just because you're coaching hockey in a bubble doesn't mean the issues that have been going on for centuries aren't still prevalent. This is really woeful on Alain Vigneault's part.
The critics are going to point to the hockey world, Craig, and say that this postponement is a day late and $1 short. Does that saying apply here, you think, for NHL players?
Here's what I would say, Glenn. We're all late. I mean, these issues have been going on for far, far too long. We got systemic racism, social and racial injustice, and you know, the issues have been there, and yet the solutions haven't presented themselves. We all talk about how we have to be more aware, what has to change. Well, that change has to take effect, and quite frankly, it hasn't. And now we're pushed to an area where now there's more significant boycotts and more significant protests. There's only one way it's going to change, and that's if we all do our part.
It's sort of ironic that the NHL players are playing in a bubble at a time like this, because if you've made the NHL, there's a good chance you've lived most of your life in a hockey bubble, and there's a greater chance you're the definition of white privilege. And hockey players always, Craig, steer clear of talking about any sort of controversial issue. Is there any way, though, that we could change this part of the culture in hockey?
Well, yes, there is. And the Hockey Diversity Alliance was created with that significant objective in mind, to change the culture. And it's not going to just happen once you're in the NHL or you're approaching the NHL. It has to start at much earlier ages and much sooner stages. And that is one of the significant initiatives with the Hockey Diversity Alliance and what they presented to the NHL. And this is something that has to happen at the younger ages, and something that the Hockey Diversity Alliance is very serious about, because it has to change, Glenn.
Yeah, and the players, they've talked a lot about the culture in hockey over the past season and how it has to change. Was this not a perfect opportunity, though, for someone to take action last night and send a message?
Well, as the king, LeBron James, has said, we can have boycotts and we can have protests, but without the follow-up, significant follow-up with respect to actionable items, what we all can do to affect that meaningful change. We're all part and parcel of making sure that we affect that change. It's not good enough to say we're aware. It's not good enough to say that we're going to try to forward the issues. We have to work together, and that is everybody, small, big, and everything in between, to affect meaningful change. The boycotts and the protests are opportunities to put a light on it. But right now, that light isn't shining brightly, and it's up to all of us to make the significant change so that we can look back at these times not as a lost opportunity, but as one that spurred on significant action.
Yeah, hockey players always praised for being tough and playing through everything, but this is not a time to be tough. This was not a tough decision in my mind. I think the better decision, obviously, would have been to just not play. Thanks a lot for this, Craig Button.